It's the final set here on Saturday of the Smite Pro League, powered by Cursed Voice. Gandhi joined by F. We are getting ready to watch the defending Smite World Champions get into it. But before we get into that, it's time to talk a little bit about the Xbox One closed beta that we are in here. So it's the usual stuff here. You guys know it's $29.99 to kind of buy your way in to the Xbox One closed beta, where you get Soldier of Fortune Ares, Ymir Cacodemon X, as well as 400 gems. But on top of that, well, we're going to be dropping some codes in this joint. So if you're in the chat, get ready.
Wait, let me get
because
into the chat.
Mr. Hi-rez Dan, Dan McHugh, a.k.a. Adam's pet, is in control of it, and he will dictate exactly what happens.
Can he just give them all to me? Because I really want that scary Cacodemon. He's so mad. He's like foaming at the mouth. Is he afraid?
He's huge in game too. He's like he's big.
I mean, I feel like I need a rabies shot just to play that guy. He's just gonna get me a little bit too strong. But
yeah.
So we saw an incredible match coming out of it. We just watched Eager take on Denial. They split the series 1-1.
Yep.
Both of these teams definitely deserved the wins that they got. We're going to move into another North American match, Cloud9 versus Cognitive Gaming. Now, what is it? The Ellen, the P's and Q's, the
Picks and Bands.
P's and B's. God, just help me out.
I'm not doing it.
You gotta help
It's
me.
not my thing, man. Adonis and I don't do P's and B's.
You have?
We do Picks and Bands.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to get in the way of your romantic.
Thank you. Okay. I appreciate that. Hashtag do. All right, so Cloud9 taking on Cognitive Gaming here. We were wondering what the role swap would be. Homie FA will be actually playing the Guardian role.
Interesting.
BCHM. Bickham. Will be playing Jungle. I had no idea how to say that.
Yeah.
No. Bickham?
Yeah, I watched him in the Challenger Cup. I had no idea.
Throw a damn vowel in there.
No?
Well, Cloud9's going to go ahead and ban out Thor as well as Poseidon, and now Serket and Athena will be gone. This is going to be a Sylvanus pickup for Jeff Hindla. Yeah, waste no time. Just grab the Sylvanus, give them instant control, and already Cloud9 screaming they're happy.
Very interesting, the Poseidon ban. Meerkat's going to be playing in the mid lane, and Herwin will be playing solo. Now, that's a role swap that doesn't include the new character, Bickham. So it's very, very interesting because I have always known Herwin as a mid player. So it's very, very interesting to see him go into solo lane, which these lanes used to be very similar, but now it's haphazard to bring a mage into that short lane. So Herwin's going to be playing probably, maybe the Bellona, if not, definitely a warrior or an assassin.
Medusa gets picked up as well as the Janus. The Janus will be going to MLC Stealth. We'll see what build he throws at us today. The last time we saw him, it was full-blown utility. And by, of course, utility with Janus, we just mean max CDR, right? It's just the CDR boots into the Chronos Pendant, throwing down the things. But Medusa will be on Barracuda, most likely. We could see maybe some deviation, but, I mean, Barracuda on Medusa just sounds scary.
Cloud9 tends to go very traditionally, very traditional meta. You know, the double hunter. Put it this way: I don't expect to see MLC Stealth bring a hunter out anytime soon. I don't really expect to see a Fenrir out of Jeff Hindla. You're gonna get what you normally would expect to see in these games out of the Cloud9, the world champions. The third bans are in, and Geb being banned out by Cloud9, making the support role harder.
The one thing I will highlight here is that Bickham decided to go into the Nemesis. When you first step foot into a competitive game, you're going to have nerves, especially going up against the world champions. And there's no better god to start off with than the Nemesis, just because Slice and Dice is the size of the lane, and Divine Judgment you actually can't miss. So it's a guaranteed kind of setup there, and this is you can just tell it's a comfort pick, 100%.
We see a lot of Nemesis come out in LAN environment, so in the early games, just because it's players adjusting to the difference in ping, etc. ISIS can be picked up by Cognitive Gaming, so expect to see Meerkat bring that into the mid. And then Tyr, Omega's going to play Tyr.
As he should. Omega
Unless he goes to the jungle.
That's what my man does. Fenrir, most likely going on to Andenster here. We've seen tales of jungle Tyr. But that's about it.
I mean, Andy was Jungle Tyr was one of the predominant places to put Tyr early on in his inclusion into Smite, and Andenster on Tyr was devastating. We'll see. He's gotten the changes that Tyr has incurred on Tyr that have changed. That is, he loses a lot of the damage output. But we'll see if Andenster will opt to take him into the jungle.
Here's the big thing, though, right? You draft a Bellona on the other side. Who do you pick up? You go Fenrir. Ability-based damage, brutalized will be there as well. So Annenster will be sporting the Fenrir, as Omega will be having the tier. There is no kind of tomfoolery coming out of them. Very traditional here, but really, when you're looking at Cloud9, there's only one word that sticks out to you, and that's early. They have Sylvanus. They have Fenrir. These two gods excel there, and then the rest will all follow suit as well.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the Sylvanus of the Fenrir, and then Medusa is a early to mid-game hunter that's definitely going to flex her stuff earlier on than some of the other hunters. Definitely not a Shibalanki type character. So Medusa wants to use those abilities earlier in order to do what she wants to do. Thank you so much as we get into the game. And teams are pretty much not doing the opposite of what we saw in the Eager and Denial match. They're not grouping. They're just hanging out. And we're going to watch Fenrir be a dog, scratching his ears, wagging his tail. I mean, I like that.
Yeah. You know, Annenster's been this... It's so weird, right? Because Season 1, when I first got hired here in September, everyone said, my God, Annenster is far and away the best mechanical, the best individual player, the highest rated player, the best person to have on your fantasy team. And now we haven't really had talks of him. And I think that's going to change here, but there is potential tomfoolery coming out of Cognitive Gaming here. Sobek comes down, Spirit Ball. It'll hit. They pluck the Sylvanus as well. Jeff Hinley in a lot of trouble, but he manages to live. He uses the Wisp, and he will live again, as the red buff will go potentially to Cognitive Gaming here, unless they will try to snake it, and MLC Stealth will be redless as he enters into the lane.
Red buff for the red team. That's the way you want to start things off if you're Cognitive Gaming, looking very, very strong right there with the early invades. So the lane switch and the roll switch is real. Here comes Meerkat, great Spirit Ball, but he does get hit by the double tap, so that'll hurt just a little bit.
Who actually picked up that red buff? Because it wasn't Meerkat who has it.
I'm going to venture, I guess, and say the support on the enemy side, because Meerkat will be able to pick up his own once a couple of waves come by, and the teams will go ahead and circle back around.
Well, Omega here. We talked about auras before. He's got one of the biggest ones on him. He is very confident. He is very skilled. And some people have kind of questioned his kind of motivation so far after winning the World Championship. But, I mean, my man's got a lot going on, and he's still learning the grind. I think the best thing for him was watching Cyclone Spin win the Spring Finals. I really do.
I mean, it's very interesting watching Omega, and Omega is a very pride-oriented player. Definitely has I don't like to use the term ego, but, well, he's got a lot of ego on the side of things. And he came out and said, I think that Cyclone Spain is one of the better players around. And
the best.
That means, that's what he said. So, I mean, that means a lot coming out from Omega. And I think that, like you said, I think it sort of bit him in the behind a little bit. And it sort of excited him, and he's getting ready to go ahead and do what he has to do in order to make his team number one again. I think looking at this team across the board, Scott, I think Cloud9 is still one of the better teams in the world.
Janus going ahead and clearing this up here, and they're really trying to get a hold of that red buff, as Omega is just going to get bullied out. He gave up. I mean, Omega's kind of given up some first bloods and just kills in lane, which we traditionally never see from him, but red buff will be taken here by Annenster. It's going to be dropped, so Janus can't grab it. Speaking of bitten behind, though, Meerkat, woof woof, brings him right back into the minions. Brutalize follows up. He's going to get silenced out of it, though. Down goes one, and now Bickham isn't able to follow it up, and that's a level 5 here. 18 seconds for these mid-Harpies. Cloud9, they definitely have control, and Omega's even rotating for it as well. So this is going to be huge for Cloud9. If they get both Harpies with allowing Tyr to get involved as well, that's a lot of experience, and they'd have. So this is a big win for Cloud9.
What a great silence coming out from the Isis on Meerkat. He did fall to the Fenrir regardless, but just... if you had any questions, Meerkat coming out of the solo lane, playing Assassins and Warriors, never really playing a mage because you're not allowed to in the solo lane these days. Coming to the mid lane, I'm going to pick up Isis, one of the more complicated mages in the game to play in this role. Well, I don't care. I nailed my silence. I did what I'm supposed to. Cool stuff.
OMFA just right up in the mix here. He's got the pluck. Here comes Divine Judgment on Jeff Hinla. They're dumping everything into the support here, and Jeff Hinla, seconds away from dying. He will go down. Cognitive Gaming making sure that Jeff Hinla gets behind. If supports get behind, we talk about it time and time again. When a support gets behind, it's next to impossible for them to actually get back into the game. So dumping it all into him really just means that in the later stages of the game, Jeff Henla won't nearly be as tanky as he could be if they didn't do it.
Of course. Definitely want to watch out for that. Famous Hate going to take a lot of the poke from Barracuda. That's what we were talking about before with the acid spray. Decent amount of damage coming out onto MLC Stealth, but not enough to really deter much of anything.
So the Mystical Mail Rush coming out of Omega here. Make no mistake here, Cloud9 and TSM are scrim partners. So Omega favoring the blue buff or the Bluestone pendant a little more than just a full out Mystical Mail Rush. But his next item was, well, Mystical Mail, most likely.
Yeah, that Bluestone pendant just so much mana, especially in addition to the blue buff on the side of the solo lane. So very curious choice. It's popular and it's good. It's just a lot of mana. I'm going to see how much... It's interesting to look at once he has that blue buff online with the Bluestone pendant, how much time he spends at full mana. I guess it's for the time in between the blue buff.
This Fenrir skin looks so cool. That jump is... That animation's gnarly. And Anister hits the threshold, get him in a little bit of movement speed here that Janus has thrown down. Unstable Vortex will clear out the wave. Anister tags it up. And you can see Andy's just really catering to MLC Stealth. He's just working as a duo, getting all of the experience, splitting all the camps. And Jeff Henla, who's level 5 right now.
Right.
He just was able to hit level 6 because of the red buff. He has to get experience everywhere he can. And he's actually going to go Traveler Shoes.
Good pick. This will allow him. So the Traveler Shoes have been changed a little bit. They no longer provide the experience that they used to, but they still provide passive HP 5 when you're out of combat, a quicker movement speed. Hold that thought. There's all the movement speed that Anister wants onto his opponent.
Oh, he missed it.
He misses the
timing.
Vortex, unfortunately, and now Andy's in trouble. MLC Stealth's going to miss the ultimate. Here comes Bellona from the solo lane. Not enough to dive Andy, but now they're looking at the mage.
Dude.
MLC Death.
It's not every day that you're going to watch MLC Stealth actually missed that timing. I mean, he dropped it through the portal and just prematurely just threw out that unstable vortex. It wasn't the right thing to do, but in the heart of the heat of the scenario, it just how it happened. And now Cognitive Gaming find themselves up 1-2. Keep in mind, this is a completely different team from last week. I mean, they lost Jigs, who is widely accepted as a great support, as Omega will zone them out, and they don't want to fight anymore. They're happy with just taking that experience, but to see Cog come out and have this kind of a showing is impressive.
Yeah, Cognitive Gaming, definitely a different team than they used to be, as you said. We'll see how it fares for them. Not only do they have new players, but almost everybody on this team is in a different position with the exception of Famous Hate. Famous Hate's the only one that is reprising his role from last week or the weeks beforehand. He's still in the Hunter role. That's pretty much all I've ever seen him play. Homie from the jungle to support. Meerkat from the solo to mid. Herwin taking the solo lane after having his mid swapped. And then Bickham, the new player, he'll find himself in the jungle.
Well, the Doom Orb coming out here for the Janus. MLC Stealth switching up his builds again. Stealth, for the longest time, all he did was have not one build, but it was basically one build. It was Warlock Sash, Power Boots, fill in the blank, right? And from that point on. But that was it. He did it on Scylla. He did it on Poseidon. He did it on, well, you name it, right? Jean Kui. All of them. Same build. Now, we're starting to see a lot of deviations coming out of MLC Stealth. Now, this Doom Orb, he might be the only Janus in the world who, in competitive Smite, who actually runs this.
I mean, the damage coming out from Doom Orb is a lot. And we talk a lot about how the way Janus works, you hit him with the Portal Unstable Vortex combo mid to late game, and it just takes off so much of the HP of your opponent. So a good jump coming out from Bellona, going to avoid the Fenrir ult. That's going to be excellent. Looking at Cloud9, looking at the enemy support. Beautiful positioning by Anister in order to prevent Sobek from getting out immediately, and that'll provide the kill for his team.
Omega cleans it up here as he will rotate out. Anister will hold the line. Now, Cognitive Gaming still going toe-to-toe here with Cloud9, and that's really the story here, is that everyone, including the community, thought this was going to be a 2-0 sweep from Cloud9, and that still could be the case, but it stands right now, Cognitive Gaming having a much better showing than, well, what we expected.
Yeah, Cloud9 definitely, well, sort of, technically in the lead. It's a tie game for all intents and purposes. 8 at 100 gold. on the way of Cloud9. Cloud9 with a 1,300 experience difference, which is pretty much what you want to look at basically in the solo lane, is Omega's got to level up on Whirlwind. But Cognitive is doing more than what we've expected. That is definitely true. They look pretty strong. At least stronger. Honestly, Scott, I think they're a stronger team now.
Yeah. Which is always shocking. I mean, there's nothing worse than losing your entire team. Well, losing a teammate in the middle of a season and then forced to try to like scramble around with no notice as well.
And that's the second time. That's the second time they have had to deal with this. Jakes has left the team just sort of like that. Herwin tweeted out that he didn't really know about it, and then Mask earlier in the season he got banned, which you don't get. You know, the admins don't, hey, we're gonna ban your guy. You know, it's just surprise. So that's twice that this team has had to deal with the adversity of losing a teammate, and we'll see how we're seeing how they respond.
Annenser jumps out missing. The slice and dice here coming out of the Nemesis is we will see Barracuda throw down the Cloud9 ward, showing his true colors here, representing Jack, the owner, as well as the entire organization here. As Barracuda will be on the Medusa, just clearing that out. He's gone into the Heartseeker. He's got the Aussie. Next will be the boots. He has options.
Yep, a lot of options. Yep. As you said, Cloud9, the ward down. Big organization. They've got teams in a lot of different games, and actually really interesting. Nothing, player for the Counter-Strike team, was actually on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Love me some Joe Rogan.
Esports. So just the Cloud9 brand extending and expanding even far and wide.
Jeff Henley ends up pulling the Gold Fury there, but he's not really too worried about it. His Wisp will hear him up.
Ult down.
As
Andy ult down.
Yep. That's big. And now Meerkat will just go ahead and push his wave, but really the story here is that Annenser, he's got 2 kills. It's at 10 minutes. We haven't really seen him take much from this. And what is Cloud9 going to do to really just start abusing the fact that Fenrir is going to have this incredibly huge power spike? And that's it. Is that Devo gloves in the jungle?
Yes. You see this a lot on Fenrir's because later in the game he's going to have to rely on those basic attacks and the lifesteal from his number 2, the Seething Howl, if I'm not mistaken. So basically what happens is Brutalize is how you hurt people early on, and then mid to late game you just got to bite people, put them in harm's way, and then try to land basics and keep yourself up a la a bruiser. So that's how Fenrir sort of transitions into it, and Devo Gloves is definitely one of the bigger pickups you see on Fenrir because of that.
Omega looking to hit the juggle here. And in the mid lane, that might just be that. Eagles Rally forced out defensively. And now Heroin will retreat into the tier 1. There's 4 members of Cognitive Gaming in the mid lane. As now Omega will go ahead and make his way over to the right side of the map. As MLC Stealth is looking for the farm elsewhere. Omega will have this. He's got the Mystical Mail done, so he's going to naturally just be doing damage here to the Bellona. But look at this. Famous Hate. They're on it. Circle protections down as well. Jeff Hindla, eyes on you. Oh my god, the Medusa ultimate was good. Cloud9 was able to steal it. There's going to be one. Following it up, looking for a second one. He goes through the portal. Annenser is everywhere. And he is nowhere at the same time. Famous Hate goes down as well. 3 members of Cognitive Gaming just get erased. It might be 4, as Omega is just, well, he's trying to bully, but that is a very bold call from Cognitive Gaming. If you're going to try to do it versus a team, you got to do it. And they had all the right pieces there, but they couldn't burst it down.
Right. Just too. I mean, Jeff Hindla has made a name for himself on stealing objectives like that. So I think that Cognitive Gaming, I applaud them for trying something big and strong. But if you're going to go for the quick, we'll steal the objective, with a new lineup, you don't do it against a team that's known for stealing those objectives.
Yep. Stealth now, dropping through his own portal, giving the race just a little bit more of a hassle to deal with, as he will threshold out. Pretty low on mana here, as he actually has gone into the CDR boots. Most likely next will be the Chronos Pendant, topping him out. So he builds the Doom Orb, so he has some damage already.
A lot of damage.
And then he just goes straight into the utility. It's a very, very unique build coming out of him. Whereas across the way, I mean, Isis just has Shoes of the Magi, right? I mean, he's pretty far behind.
1,000 gold trailing as the mid laner for Cognitive Gaming. As we keep harping on, Meerkat traditionally a solo laner, so making a big transition against one of the better teams in the world. Tough to go up against them, but Cognitive doing what they can. They were very, very close for a long while, but until that last engagement where they got the Gold Fury stolen away from them, and then, well, everyone died. Cloud9 now leading by a significant jump. Look at that graph. 5,300 gold. 6,500 experience.
It's about the experience early on, though, at this point. I mean, 14 minutes in, they have a 6,400 experience difference. I mean, this is big. And you can just see Barracuda looking for the box. He gets the guaranteed. Lacerate comes up as well. He forces out the backflip. Sprints pops. He's got to just hit this. I mean,
ult's enough.
And there it is.
He wanted to
chases him down, saves on the ultimate as well. Mid lane, though, we do have a grouping.
Yeah, Barracuda, all he needs to do is land that ult. Jeff Hindle lands his own. In comes Tyr with the swag flip. He's going to land on a Fearless a couple of times.
What a play.
But Homie Effie gets the kill with the Sobek onto Annenster. Omega still very, very high. Homie Effie, not so much. Bickham, not so much. Meerkat, about a little higher than half HP along with Herwin. 3 members of Cloud9 looking at this tower. The tower has a full wave of minions. Omega doing what a good solo lane bruiser should do. He's pushing the enemy out, but his team does not have the Hunter here present. Barracuda instead opted to get the first 2 towers on the left side of the map. They've done a big enough distraction in the middle, Scott, in order to allow Barracuda to get both of those towers. Did they get the middle tower? No, but it was all a farce. It was about the long lane.
Well, the pluck has happened. MLC Stealth now dodges that. Through the wall he goes. Janus is great. Medusa ultimate was on the backside. Tyr now all the way down. Omega, he fears no man. He fears death as well, as he will now just push up. Recall in the middle of the lane. Homie FA will throw him backwards. Might pay with his life here. Nope, he's Tyr, and he's going to juggle and actually get a kill on that. Good God, that was the worst decision from a Sobek to throw in hindsight. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I got him, guys. Oh wait, I just got my entire team killed.
And then Bickham sat there. You threw a level 17 Tyr at me. I'm 12.
Yeah,
I'm 12. All I know, Bickham has to be sitting there. That's not my bad.
Yeah,
that's not my bad. And they're going to get very aggressive. Go ahead and try and solo the enemy red buff, despite Homie Effie and Famous Hate being here. He'll go ahead and get plucked. The jump is good enough. There's an ultimate coming around from Andy. Very, very aggressive. Brutalized, but there's the ultimate to stop it. Not quite. Jeff Hindley gets the kill with the Wisps.
Stealth now goes through the portal. Homie FA will be trying to deter him just a bit. Is now we will see Cloud9 start to group together here. We've seen one Gold Fury stirred up, and it has been taken by Cloud9, and now Stealth, he's waiting on the cooldowns here. He's getting through the portal. Through he goes. He will live. That's incredible.
Janus can walk through walls.
Yeah, 181 health left.
That's what we were talking about. You can't do that in Halo.
Yeah.
You want to walk right through the wall. MLC Stealth gets healed up just a little bit from Jeff Hindley, so going to look pretty good right there. And this is very, very quickly spiraled completely out of control for Cognitive Gaming. Cloud9 just 10 minutes in, looked about even. 16 minutes in, they are significantly driving this bus towards the finish line. 9-3, the kills, and the gold, very similar story, leading by about 8,000.
Jeff Hindley is just glued to the hip of Stealth, just trying to throw out the Wisp here. I mean, he's got him up to so much health already. I mean, when he was done with that fight, it was like 180 health left, and now he held him up all the way to past half. That's the strength of Sylvanus right here.
Purple buff being picked up by Barracuda. Teams sort of looking at the next objective, which is going to be Gold Fury. Cloud9 here, all of them here. Meanwhile, all of Cognitive Gaming are getting a speed buff on their own side of the map, so no vision for the red team. They've got vision in their own jungle. No, not even. So no wards on the left-hand side for Cognitive Gaming, but they've sniffed it out enough, and they're going to try and get the Fire Giant because of it. They see it, the enemy team's on the other side of the map. Omega, that's all he needs. Omega shows up and the entire team gets off Fire Giant.
Yeah, he accidentally went through that portal in the back, porting him through, and now Stealth is going to be here. He's on Meerkat. Silenced out as well. Medusa ultimate on the backside. There's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. And now they will look to continuously push up here. Might go to Fire Giant.
They're going for fire.
Yeah. They got 2 down. They don't have to worry about Meerkat throwing down the circle of protection. They don't have to worry about Divine Judgment.
There's no fear here for Cloud9 as they're looking at this Fire Giant. Just 10,000 gold in the lead. They're going to go ahead and take this. They've got the Wrath of Terra to really defend against any sort of inclusion. Homie FE not going to really do much right there. And Erwin and Famous Hate not able to do it either, as Homie FE the only one with a Hog 3 on the side of Cognitive Gaming. So not quite able to land it. Homie FE level 13 and Defenda also 13, so not a big lead in the support role, but it's a different world on the others.
Yep. And now, Cognitive Gaming, they're in this position where they're down a lot.
Right.
And Fire Giant's there. What do they even look to do?
I mean, right now they're looking to capitalize off of mistakes. They want to find a pick or two. They really need numbers in order to win these engagements. They're not going to be able to win on a straight 5-on-5. This is sort of what we were talking about when I think it was Eager got the Fire Giant and the game was even. You can fight, or Danaga the Fire Giant and the game was even as far as the gold is concerned. You can fight that. This, much different story. This is 13,000 gold. In the lead is Cloud9, and Cognitive Gaming cannot fight this.
It came out of nowhere, too, at 10 minutes. I mean, this game was even. It was 2-2.
Yep.
And now it's 11-3. So in 9 minutes' time, Cognitive Gaming have only been able to come up with 1 kill. And Cloud9, well, they've done the exact opposite. Omega now is just going to chase him down. He's going to Lawbringer in as well. This guy, he's got his swag back, that's for sure. He's just doing everything he's supposed to.
Chasing 2 players. That's Omega in a nutshell.
Yeah.
There's 2 of you. There was 1 of me. I don't care.
Yeah.
And again, him by himself is going to push out 2 members of the enemy team, allowing Cloud9 to take the 2 towers, or the 1 tower that was remaining in the mid lane. Here comes Omega. A good flip from Homie FE is going to put Anister under the Phoenix, but it's all about cock playing defense.
Omega has been taken down here. Medusa ultimate was able to hit some. Heroine now forced all the way out. Down goes Heroine as well. It looks like this might be the final push coming out of Cloud9 as they are now on the Phoenix. They're going to continuously push this one up. There's 4 members of Cognitive Gaming alive. It's a 4-on-4 skirmish. Left Phoenix. It's exposed. Cloud9 surrender vote has started up, and based on the jumping, it looked like that might be it.
I don't think, I mean, it's pretty rough. Cloud9's going to go ahead and Cognitive Gaming's going to make them earn their win. I like it.
As they should.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, no. Nope. Yep. Surrender, boys. Well, all things considered, Cognitive Gaming did the right. They started off right. I was going to say they did the right thing, but then I don't believe in surrendering. So in some situations, especially in like a 2-game set, it's meh to me. The more I thought about it, but yeah, it is whatever. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the first blood here, coming out of Andenster on the Metal Carnage Fenrir. He comes in, woof woof, right through the portal, brings him directly back. Now, he does get silenced out, but he does manage to still find the kill with the auto attack.
Just a couple of basics to clean things up right there. And, I'm with you. I'm with you on it, Scott. Cognitive looked very, very strong up until that Gold Fury. The second Jeff Hindler took that, it's like they took the momentum away from them.
Everything crumbled.
And it just crumbled. And then a lot of it, I really want to give credit to the play in the mid lane. There was a fight going on in the mid lane that Cloud9 didn't really care about because it was all about Barracuda split pushing.
Yep. Well, time to take a look at the jungle camp here and see how everything turned out. Cognitive Gaming had only 38%. The mid Harpies, 70% to Cloud9. Wow. Gold Furies 2 for 2. And as we said before, I mean, that was the turning point. Cognitive Gaming tried to sneak away the Gold Fury, and Cloud9 said, do you know you're going against Jeff Hindler? Like, he's the sex, man.
Yeah, little rough. The Hindler Swindler steals another one this time around. So
he's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, just good stuff coming out from the Cloud9 support and in general from the Cloud9 team. We're going to give player of the game to the jungler. Anister definitely doing what he was supposed to. 3-1-6 kill death assist ratio for the dog.
Yeah, we already saw this is the first blood, and this really is just kind of what started him off. Andenster just can still show off exactly what he's good at, which is, well, damn near everything. He just finds a target, brings it back, and I don't think we've seen him actually play Fenrir before.
Yeah, I mean, Fenrir not very Andy pick, but I mean, it's all the small things, cue the Blink-182, that I really liked about the Fenrir right there. You see, as he brought the last play, he brings the Sobek under the tower, and then as he falls down the into the portal, Anister comes around to screen or body block him away from, no, you can't get out of the tower. If you got a charge play or something, you're going to charge right into me. So it's those small things that really make Anister the type of jungler that he is.
Going in this game number 2, what does COG Gaming really need to do to come out on top?
I mean, it's a fresh slate. That's what they have to remember first and foremost. It's a fresh slate. They got to capitalize on what they did correctly. They stayed in tune. What they did incorrectly was they gave up the objectives. So for Cognitive Gaming in game 2, they have to come into it level-headed and fresh-minded, saying, hey, it's game 2, let's just treat it just like game 1. It's not a series, it's all by itself, and we've got to be a little more choosy when it comes to objectives.